Hello. Today we will be stream. I will be streaming, and we will be creating an airport for my model airplanes. I make these. They're usually like I put them together, and I want to know how much papers I need. So, how much of each I need. So today I'll be creating this airport, maybe even rendering it. I don't know. So first things first, I need to create the papers. So I'm going to go File, Import Images as Planes. If you don't have this, you can go to Edit Preferences, and from here type Import Images as Planes. Just check this, and now all the images that you import will be imported as planes. So just file, import images as planes. Go to your selected folder. Mhm. I called it airigami because these are all from the airigami website. I'll have a link down below. It's a very good website where you can build your own airport and your own paper models. So just import them all. Now, as you can see, each of them has a texture. Like this one, it has this texture where like the runways have like crossed. We have this one, which is like the start of the runway before like the touchdown zone. We have this, which is you know, the normal runway. This is the start of the runway, the threshold. This is the place where you can't just take off. You can only take off from here, not from here. You cannot land here. The rest are just taxiways and ramps, like where planes park, where planes just go and move. These are all you will need to know. They are all currently here. I'm just going to select them and rotate them all at, just press RY90, RY90, and they will automatically be like rotated this way. You can rotate them manually, but RY90 rotates them 90 degrees on the y-axis. Let me just turn on screencast keys. Yes. Alright. Now you should be able to see. Yes. Okay. First, I'm going to start off by building the runways. I'm going to have like two runways. So now the intersection is going to be this. This is why we are going to need this intersection. It's for the runways. We will rotate it according to how we want the runways. I'm not going to have them be completely perpendicular. So I'm not going to be needing this right now. I'll have two runways. They will be parallel. So let's see. Okay. Alright, so I will first thing will start with this. I'll just take it like this. Make this. Okay, a cool hack when you are making like things that you want to be parallel, you can go Shift D, click, then go G, Y, and each of these squares is one. So if you want it to be like 3 squares apart, you could go GY3 and it will be 3 squares apart. Just like this. 1, 2, 3 squares like away from it. Okay, you can do this with all the other parts. Just completely do this. I recommend being up like on the Z viewport. This way you can like align them properly. Okay, I'll make a few more. Uh, 1 second. Sorry. Alright, so we usually have one of these before this, so I'm just going to move this right here. You can also do one thing, which is this. If you go and press N to open the sidebar, sorry, I have another keyboard down here. Yes, and if you go to item, here you could see on the y-axis how far it is. Like right now this is this much on the y, so -5 point etc. So you can just copy and paste it to the rest, and it will automatically be there. Like it just automatically sets itself there. And then you can just take them, get them closer to each other. And you have your runways working right now. Okay, the intersection I won't be doing right now, so yes. Shift D, and I'm gonna go GX2, right click, GX -2. I'm going to go on the negative X axis one, and I can do this. I can do now Shift D, GX -1, and then if I press Control R, Alt R, Control C. Okay, then I'm just gonna go Shift D, GX -1, Shift D, GX -1. Okay, I can keep on doing this, or I could just shift click the entire thing. If I want this like to be the center of my runway, this is like how long I want it to be, like to its half, I could select all of these, and I'm going to go make sure I have this median point. Individual origins, if I go Shift D RX90, RZ90, sorry, it will just rotate them like this. Here, I'll put it on medium point, and if I rotate right now, they all rotate together. Control Z. If I put it on individual origins, this one, they will rotate each one separately, which we do not want. So Control Z to undo that. Medium point, go Shift D, right click so that it does not change the position or anything. Then go Alt R once, Control Z. Then go RZ180. Now we have it like crossing like this. Then you can just move it until you see necessary. Alright, if this is how I want my runway to be, I can still add more. Let me just Control C. Let me just align them properly. They're aligned, okay. If I wanted to add more, if I did want to add more, it is confusing. Okay, make sure you have no layering problems, because it might get confusing. If I wanted to add more, I can just move it back and add, but until now I just want it like this. So I will just select them all, and then I'm going to go Shift D, click, and go GY3, and it will automatically move them 3 meters. 1, 2, 3 meters. Each one of these squares is 1 meter, sorry, and it will move them 3 meters over to this one. And now they're all laying flat down right here. Okay, so now we have our parallel runways for parallel landings. Good. We might want to join the entire runway, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just put them all into one group. I can do that by selecting the runway, and then I will press M, new collection, and I'm going to call the collection runway 1. Okay, and then I'll select these, move them into the new collection by pressing M, new collection, runway 2. Okay, I will name the runways properly again, like runway, I don't know what's, there's no compass here. Let's say 17, 17L, 17R, and same thing here, 35L, 35R, etc. What the? Oh. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Now we need to make a way off of these runways. So this could be what we want, but since we have this like crossing, we cannot use that. Instead we'll use one of these, like combined across the runways. So just move this back here. We can go shift the right click. As you can see here, everything is happening. Okay, now we will go Alt R to rotate it 90 degrees. You can go down by pressing GY negative 2, right click, pressing GY negative 1. Okay, and then we can just align it just enough so that it just overlaps this. This way, like it's going inwards. We can do the same thing. Shift the right click, GY negative 1, and we can just barely, just slightly move it like this until it covers this up. You can then, of course, scale them both up, or you can just take this back and go SY and just scale it up just a bit more. SY, scale it up a bit. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. SY and scale it up. Alright. Now we have this like intersection between the runways. We could also use some grass between them. So this is why we're going to be using this. Shift D. Move it right over there. Make sure it's on properly on the Z-axis, and just properly make it here. Just normally, easily put it between the runways. This way we create like this proper aesthetic of the runways without really ruining anything. Like now if we put up there like this place where you go out of the runway, yeah, it will look more natural than just having it weird with no grass around. Then you can go shift D, right click, then go GX1, right click, GX2, yes, then go shift D, right click, GX1, shift D, right click, GX1, and repeat the same process until you have whatever you want. You can also, if like you know I have 1, 2, 3, I can just do shift D, right, or left click, as long as you do not move your mouse, and then go GX3, 3. This way it moves each one of them 3. This one goes right here, this one here, and this one here. And now you have it all, this entire area is covered. Shift D, G, go Y, 1, yes. And then select all of this. Delete the original, this one. Select all of this, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go G, X, -6, Control Z. Shift D, right click G, X, -7. Yes. This way they skip this one and continue. Alright, okay. This one isn't perfectly centered because the runway isn't properly even. So I can just do Shift D, right click or left click, -1. Control Z. G, X, -1. That's -2. G, X, -1. Okay. Now, finally, after all of this time, we can make the place where you like get out of the runway. It's this. Yes, this is it. So just move this away again. I'm not going to use it now. Okay, Shift D. Okay, you can create it like this, where it just comes out of the runway. This is quite helpful. Or you could make it just go out straight. I think this one is the most proper one for the situation. It's quite good, if I might say so myself. Since we're not properly like rendering everything and making it so this wow render, you can have it like this. And if you want it to continue straight, it's one of these. It's this one. This, you can use it if you want it to continue in a straight line. I don't want it to continue in a straight line, just want them to continue just at the start. Ctrl Z, G, Y1. Alright, copy the Y coordinates, Ctrl C, paste them for the straight. This one. Ctrl V, yes. Copy the X coordinates, Ctrl C, and paste them, Ctrl V. Yes. And now go GY -1, Alt R. Alt R just rotates anything that you have selected 90 degrees, like Alt R. Select this, Alt R. It clears rotation. Sorry. Alright, this is proper. Okay, of course the rest of the area has to all be filled out with grass or taxiway blocks. But until now, we don't really need much. Okay, we're going to continue on for a bit before reaching this, like, where you just split up and continue. Which is why we're going to be needing this. Shift D, click. I'll go GX -1. Then we go GY 1. No, RC 90. Then continues. Then go Shift D, click GX -1, GX -1, right click, Shift D, gx -1. Of course, I want to make it like until the end of the runway, so I'll have it like here. It continues, which is why I'm going to select all of these. Okay, Shift D, gx -3. Okay, Shift D these two, Shift D, gx -2. Alright, I'll get one of these. Yes, Shift D. I'll move it right over here. You can go also Shift S, cursor to selected. Then you can click on this one or whichever one you want, and then go Shift S, and go selection to cursor. Shift S, selection to cursor, and now it's at the cursor. So basically, ta-da! At the cursor. gx -1. Okay, RZ90. Do it again, RZ90, and again RZ90. Alright, now it comes out of the runway into that. No, it doesn't. That's not it. That's not it. Where's the exit? I got the wrong one. There's no exit. Great. These are smaller. Okay, it comes out of the runway. Yeah, it comes out of the runway. Good. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. Don't question it. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go Shift D, click GY2. Okay, I'm going to go RZ180. RZ90. RZ90. RZ-90. Auto clear rotation. Okay, going to go Shift D, click on this, and I'm going to take it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. Go GX -8. Okay, it's here now. Alright. Now that we have both of these going straight here, we're going to have this one go, of course, continue here, but not now. Okay, I think we're going to have to delete this right now. Or just move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so GX7. Alright. To continue on with this. Oh god. RZ0. Alright. Then we go GY -2. Okay, good. We move this. I don't want to sound like French. Because French is basically bonbon in French. Bon means good. And bonbon means good. So in French, they basically call their candy good. Yeah, it's confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shift, click. And we're gonna go GX8. GX8. Alright, and then I'm going to make sure that they are on median point, not active element, not individual origins, median point. Then I'm going to flip them. So basically like just a little bit of inconsistencies. GX8. Alright. GX -7. Okay, we're not going to have any block here, in fact. This one, delete. Okay. There was a layer here actually. It wasn't just a normal block there. There was a layer, which is why it went like that. Gonna go RZ90. Again. Let's see. RZ -90. GX -1. Alright. This one goes RZ90. This one for sure. And go Shift S. Select cursor to selected. Shift S. Selection to cursor. And then go GY. GY -1. GY -1. Okay. And now we're going to be selecting where's it? Okay, this one. Yes, this one. Right, I'm just going to place it here. Control Z. Shift S, selection cursor to selected. Sorry. Shift S, selection to cursor. Then go GY1. Okay, it's as simple as that. Let's move this a bit to make it all properly connected. Okay, make sure this is also properly connected. Make sure they're all properly connected if you're going to render. If you're not going to render like me, I might render it and I might not. So if you might or might not render it, make sure to have it all be properly made like this. There should not be a crack here. You should, if you were rendering, this small like difference should not appear. So if you're rendering, make sure that this crack or difference doesn't appear. It will appear when you're in the works, but once you render, it should not appear like this. Okay. The only way to make it not appear is basically to just do it properly. Just align it properly in a way where it doesn't really seem very obvious. If you want these come before the runway, so if you're going to put them before the runway, they're the place where the taxiway goes into. So basically this, you would have it usually around here, and where is it? This is usually before it. This is where you cannot be unless you're like taxiing or something, and this is where you can take off from only. You cannot land on it. You can take off from it. It's not really that big of a deal if you land on it, but it's not really preferred. So okay, we continue on. Okay, we have all of these coming out. This one has to be fixed. Why is this happening? Wait, okay, we have all of these coming out, and now we have to make this like taxiway, another taxiway that goes straight in here so that it can continue on forward, because if it just leads onto the runway again, it's not going to make any sense at all. So yeah, he lands this way, he goes like this and this. If he lands this way and decides to like go out of the runway early, like if it's a small aircraft like a Cessna or something, you can go like this in here and then continue on. So these are basically just in case like sometimes you want to, he's taxiing out, sometimes like he just can do this into the runway, and sometimes they don't. So it really depends on your airport. So in my airport, I would have these layered on top of each other in a way where is it? In a way where like these are all leading to this, which also leads to the other one. It's kind of complicated. Right now, this is usually used if it's splitting off into two runways. It's not splitting off into two runways right now, which is why we're not going to be using it. We will actually use it as like our indicator. Shift S, cursor to selected. Then we're going to use this one. Shift S, selection to cursor. This one allows us to have it go from here to the runway if like we don't want to continue on from here. Let me just select the other one. This will allow us to go from here to the runway, completely from here, if you want to like cross the runway instead of do anything else. It allows us to go from here and from here if you want to just go and take off or go and land. This one only allows us to come from these sides and to this. Like, if we put this here, it would make a lot of sense. But this would create like double lines, which are usually very annoying. So I'll just return to it where it isn't going to bother us. Alright, these can be taxiways, like these, or they could also be runways. It really depends on your like taste of aesthetic. I kind of like them to be this runway-like shape. Oh my god. Alright. Now we will have like where it leads to the entire airport and stuff. So the aircraft, Control Z. Okay, the aircraft will be parked at these ramps. I'll zoom in. Wait. Okay. These are the ramps that the aircrafts will be landing on. This is blank. It's like the space between aircrafts. This is just a normal aircraft ramp. This is where it has like another ramp, like this gate, where you cannot enter under. Just follow the rules. Anyways, these small lines are where like the cars, you know, these airport vehicles, where they go. These are the lines. Currently, I will make it go simply from here. It just went out and goes here. For this runway, I took care of this one. I forgot about this one. Sorry, mate. For this runway, if they landed like this, they have to either backtrack and continue from here, or as normal real life airports, just continue on here. Which is where was it? This comes in handy. This could be made here, and this one could be set over here. So basically, if I put this one, Shift S, selection to cursor, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then go Shift S, selection to cursor, go GX -1, rotate it on the Z axis properly, like this. Okay, Alt R. Okay, Alt R basically just resets everything. R Z 180. Right click. RZ 90. Okay. Now this runway is the prime runway. It's the runway that leads to both runways. I'll make this RZ 90. Okay. Make sure it's properly connected to all the others. It's not. I'm going to just select the one under it. The one under it. The one under it. Okay. And I will be clicking Shift S, and then selection cursor to selected. Click this one on top, Shift S, selection to cursor, click on it, the one on top, and delete it. Alright. Okay, now we have this. We'll be dealing with it from up top, making sure it's like all properly connected, all properly done. Okay, alright, now just look at this and just stick it down. Just very helpful. Just make sure they're all properly aligned if you are rendering. I will be rendering, but it won't be kind of far, so it's not gonna matter that much. Just make sure they're properly aligned if you're doing like some sort of animation. I will supply the link in the description after this live stream ends, and I will even show you around their website. They're a very good paper model creator. I've created some models. I even stop motion animated them. I enjoy making them, and you'd probably enjoy them too. So now GY -2. Alright. Shift D GY -1. Okay. Make sure that everything is properly done, because every single detail could matter. GY. And don't worry about these like things. When you're cropping it, it might happen. So these aren't really that big of a deal. Just if you really care about these, just make sure that when you're cropping your uh, model, it's properly done, because it's kind of annoying sometimes. Let's see why this. Okay. I'll just fix up everything, make sure it's all properly aligned, and just go. This is properly aligned. You can scale things up like like this. Just make sure that it does not overlap anything different than itself. If it overlaps itself, what's the worst that could happen? Alright. Now it all looks proper right now. Of course, we still have to fix these minorities. Make sure that none of this ruins your render, because if it does, it's kinda annoying having to fix this and stuff. Yeah, very disappointing to finish your render and then find out about this. It once happened and I had to re-render. The render was like, I don't know, an hour 30, and usually my renders are like nothing, just a few frames. So I had to wait another hour 30 to find out that there was another problem. So fixing these from the start is usually your best option. Okay, so I'll go GY -3. Okay, so I'm just continuing this to make it all look pretty beautifully nice. Make it all look proper. This beautiful sense. Make everything look like it's made professionally, everything made properly, nothing made in a weird way or anything. So Shift D, R C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So GX 2, 15. Thank you very much. 50, GY -1, GY -1, Shift D, GY -1, 1. Yes, very good. Very, very good. Okay, so let me just give you a brief explanation. These are the ones on the outside, like the ones near the runways and everything. These are the ones like near the ramps. You know, the ramps are this place where you park your airplanes. These are the ramps, in case you were wondering. You will not use all the pieces every single time, so usually doing them out in some software where you can lay out your stuff beforehand is usually very good. Like, for example, Blender. Thank you. Alright, now we will be switching to this, so let's see it happen. Alright, this is usually connected straight up to this. Just layered behind each other. Usually, this goes before this, which is usually, and by usually I mean most cases, this always goes before this. Shift S, cursor to select. Cursor equal to it. Okay. Go GY1. Alright. What do we have now? I think these are just a bit smaller. I might have made them a bit smaller than they should be. Yes, they are. Blender, they are a bit smaller. You might have shrank or something, I don't know. Okay. They're all the same size. It's kinda weird. They should be squares, not whatever this says. It does not matter right now. Okay, so this is quite confusing. Alright. No, they're not smaller at all. They're quite normal. So these are usually the things that lead up to the ramps. Not by any means the ones where you taxi along. G Y G X. Okay, so since you would also need like this space to go from one place to another, like this continuant, it would be like the place where your ramps go. So it would be good if you were able to extend this just a bit. Okay, you can continue it until it goes into one of these. Where are they? This. One of these. Or you can make it like, this goes like this. You can make like a duplicate of this, and in the modeling section of Blender, you can just cut it from here and stretch it out. It would look quite weird. Or you can just make small duplicates and join them all into one. I'll demonstrate. Click. Okay. Usually this never happens, but I'll demonstrate for sure. Why not? Okay, using the knife tool, just make sure you're going from the proper dimension. Okay, this just here, just continually the straight line. Yes, and click enter. So you can just continue on to the straight line. Alright, now this is cut. As you can see, it's very cut. And it's cut quite perfectly straight above this line. Now we will just go into the selection mode, shift, select these. This entire thing is now selected. Just turn off screencast case. Okay, this entire thing is now selected. Go up, press P, selection. Now this is a different piece than this. If I go over to here, okay, this is now basically the same as this. Each of them are one piece. They're different. They're not the same. Okay, I'll go Shift D, right click, select this, which is going to be grid for us. Always set origin to geometry. Always do that. geometry. Always, never forget. And select them both. Shift D. Move them up just a bit. This is how I built the airport in my animation that I posted. If you haven't seen that yet, you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of things. It's awesome. It's the best animation I've made yet. It's my best animation ever. I put it above this so that it's basically just exactly one of these. We need like two more. Right click, shift click, shift D. Just 3 down. Just get this. Shift click, 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 click. Move them both like all up. Okay, delete the two of them. Make sure this is Ctrl C, Shift click. Okay, now they're all perfectly one block. We select them all and we go Ctrl J. And now they're all one piece. Like you see, if I click one. And there's no Z fighting because we learned them properly. The Z fighting, this is like the reflection. If we go into render mode, there's no Z fighting at all. Why is there a light? See? Even on the bottom, there's no Z fighting. This is basically like the top, why it's happening. The bottom is not doing anything. It's basically the reflection of the light, how it's going. So it's good. Alright, now we delete this. And poof, straight like that. Okay, alright, now we have this. Of course, you can continue on. I'll just switch these two. Let's go GY -1. GY -1. 1. Alright, it needs a bit more. Just get it up on the Y axis. Center, let's get it up on the Y. Y axis. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore right now. Then this, just move it up one block. Move this down just a bit. Make sure it's all properly connected. We don't want anything bad happening. Okay, you will not really need this unless your airport splits up like this, and it's like the center way. I'm not going to use this. Control C. Just going to use it as my way out of this mess. What the hell? Control C. It's selected. Let's just find this one. Okay, Shift S, cursor selected. Shift S, section to cursor. Alright, now we click on this one else. Alright, you can now see everything going in, fitting like magic. Alright, this might cause you some problems. There's a bit of, there's no Z fighting, but look, this is very, very annoying. What you can do is just extend one of these above it and cut this. I'm going to create a duplicate. and we're going to make this duplicate like as our like save or something. And now we will just cut this area, this entire area, just cut it up. Why, you might ask? It's all for science. Just kidding. It's to make it so that this goes perfectly with this. No problems whatsoever. This one's easier because we have this indicator here. And just stretch it up in a straight line. Click and hit enter. And now if we select these, we can, instead of pressing P and doing everything that we did before, and just go delete faces. Delete only faces. Now these will remain, so I can just delete them later. Just select it, delete it, edges, and delete edges. Okay. Good. Now we just select the entire thing. If we move it, the origin might move, but I'm going to move it anyway, because we are going to be returning it back to its former spot. GY, just make sure it's all properly aligned. Alright. G, make sure everything is done right. Alright. Okay, this is not one block. Wait, what? Yeah, one here. GY. Okay, GY. Alright, now there's nothing. Okay, now there's nothing. I give up. Why is this matching? This not matching. And this not matching. Airigami, please explain. See why. Click. G X. Yeah. This is weird, but I'll take it. No problem. No. Yeah, just this and go above here. Layer it up. That's person. Both go to modeling. The one on there. That just select this. Okay, and then just press C. Done. Okay. This is not the best, but I really doubt that it would actually affect it. I just have it to make sure it's done properly. Control C. I guess I'll just have to repeat. If you are rendering, please don't do that because it will look very ugly. Instead, what you should do, so you select these. Once you select these, shift select. Make sure you have it on this. This is a lifesaver, I swear. I promise it's a lifesaver. It will help you a lot in your life. Okay. See that Z fighting? Yeah, don't want that. You want this to be cut. So just make sure you're selecting this one, this one, this one. Hide this one. Alright. Get the knife out. We're gonna perform some surgery. Same thing. But instead of clicking P this time, just enter. So just enter. Alright, click this. Right click. Click this face, right here. And then go Shift D and move it slightly. Boom, it's fixed. Everything properly done, like a master. When people see you doing this, they'll be like, this dude. Probably they will not be like that, but you get my point. They'll be like, awesome. Alright. Tab. Alright. Now we have our thing that we need. Okay. See this part? This is what leads to the ramp. So we're going to have to count how many ramps do we have. Oh, it's going to go forever. Oh no. Oh, why? Alright. Not every single spot has a ramp. They're usually like one spot empty, one spot ramp, one spot empty, one spot ramp, or they just all have ramps. So having it one spot empty, one spot ramp is kind of wasting the area. Let's go airport ramp. Enter. Alright, images. Let me just get some sort of reference. Okay, this. There's usually like this empty spot in the middle. If it's like this, usually there's always like a ramp between the aircrafts to like avoid crashes and these things. You get the point. But anyway, back here. So airports usually cram it up instead of having it one spot empty, one spot ramp. They just do that, like save on space. So instead of like this is exactly what I want. This is the ramp. This is another ramp. This is the way between them. This is usually not a ramp. It's not a ramp at all. Never a ramp. This is like basically when you have two ramps near each other. This is like the space between them to make sure like aircraft don't like bump into each other. Like this, not this. So I hope you understood my explanation. We will make them a bit crowded. Alright, this will go RZ 180 degrees for obvious reasons. I'll go like this and make sure everything's properly done. This, go down, go GX and GY. Now this is done. It's good, it's beautiful, but we have a long space to go. Quite a long space to go. We're going to have to cover like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, etc. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Alright. To continue fixing this spot now. I hate this. I hate this so much. I despise it. I wanna die. I wanna kill it. Anyway, back to modeling. Delete. Okay. If you care about that, You don't care about that. You don't care about that. It depends on your situation. Alright. Shift D, GX -1. Shift D, GX -2. I'll keep some space here. GX -1. Okay. GX -1. Control Z. GX -1. Alright, I'll have this like be in between them, but until now, let's continue. Okay, I will not make it just this area. I'll have it like expand a bit further from the airport to make it look like it's something bigger. This is a regional airport with 2 runways, which is why I only have this like one terminal that spans not much. So Shift D, GX -2. GX -4. Alright. And click on all of these. You know what? Just continue this. Shift D, RX, RZ90. Alright. Move it. Make sure it's all aligned properly so that you can all be good. Okay. Clear up on this side. Alright. Finally done. Anyway, let's continue. Right click, set origin, geometry. Shift D, GX -2. Shift click. Shift D, GX -4. Alright, then we select all of this. Shift D, GX. I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should have been 10. 10. Alright. These, you can use them on here. Shift. Shift D, G, Y, 2. Shift D, G, Y, 2 again. Boom, that's perfect. That's extremely good. I love it. Okay. Shift D, GX -4. GX -2. Alright, that looks good. Everything's looking good. I am thankful. Okay, then these do two have the same fate. D, G, X, 2. Just did this one, it's not going to matter. Delete it. I hate it. Everybody does. No, I just kidding. I don't have any of these. Don't hate me. Shift click. Shift D. GY negative 2 1 shift V negative GY negative 2 negative 2. Okay, shift D GY negative 4. Alright, click just a second, please. Shift D 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, GY negative 7. I'm streaming.
Blender?
Yes, streaming. G X negative 1. Okay, and I'll create like this cover here and cover here to finish it all up before continuing on and doing the ramps. I rarely ever use hotkeys. I just learned to use it because it really saves up a lot of time when working on big projects. So GX. Okay. Alright. Like this one, for example. Shift D, GY. These are lifesavers, the hotkeys. Well, more time savers than lifesavers, but I'm pretty sure you all get the point. Shift, click, click, click. I'll zoom in and make sure they're all properly done. Please let me they're all done properly right here. Okay. Since the rest aren't really full blocks, let's see. This can overlap on them, so sometimes they will z-fight, sometimes they won't. Usually they won't, because why z-fight? Oh, okay, they're z-fighting. Usually z-fights can be resolved by going to view and changing the clip start. Making it more, it changes the bias, so the more you raise it, the more bias other things have to another. So I'm going to raise it up like 1 meter. Wow. You can raise them up just a bit in case, it annoys you having them z-fight. But since I'm just using it as like this mapping to know how much I need, it isn't that annoying. Something funny just happened in the background. I'll move these. Let's just Shift S, selection to cursor. Alright, move them back. These are the glorious ramps that will destroy the world one day. Just kidding. Okay, as you can see here, I won't be talking too much right now. So I hope these are instructive enough until, because my breath has run out. Alright, this looks good. It's looking good. It's looking very good. Very, very dreadfully good. Oh, actually, it's not dreadful. It's actually very nice. RC 180. Okay. Okay, so there's another one. Where is it? 40. Yeah, I guess. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this stream. Next time I stream, I will be rendering this entire thing. Probably deal with the Z fighting. So until then,